So basically, I don't know if you guys can see it on the board, but that's a rough sketch of what we're going to design. What we're going to start doing the base, the actual base of it, and then we're going to extrude it up using, or you can loft it, depending on what you prefer. We'll do extrude first though, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's draw a circle in the center of your screen. The diameter is going to be 6 inches, so you can type in D, enter 6. Now, since we're actually ready to go 3D already, so you can go into an isometric view. Isometric view is over here, using your square box over here, or you can go to view, isometric, like southeast or something like that, and we have our first circle. Now before we go on, I want you guys to set del objects to 0. That way anything we extrude, subtract, and loft, sweep, the original design or the sketch that you made will stay there. So go ahead and type in del objects, obj, del objects. Default will be 1. Just set it to 0. Type 0, enter. Now if we extrude, that actual circle is not going to disappear. So now we go to extrude, which is either you can type in ext, or you can go over here to your extrude command in your home tab. You select that circle, like so, enter. Move your mouse, you can view which way it's going, which way it's getting stretched out. And what we need to do is, before we specify the distance, we're going to taper it. So taper. Now usually when you taper at a positive number, it tapers in. If you type in a negative number, it tapers out. And right now we're going to taper out, and we're going to go -5. So we're tapering out 5 degrees. Okay. Now if that, you can see it doesn't look quite too much tapered. It's at 5 inches. We're going to make it 9 inches deep. High, I mean. So you get a better visual. That taper is not big enough, I think, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to type in T again. Make it -8. Again, this is all by preference. These numbers are up to you. But if you want exactly the same thing that I'm making, you will type in the exact same dimension. Again, I don't think that's enough, so I type T, enter, -10. So you don't have to worry about going back and doing it all over again, because you haven't selected the actual complete endpoint. So you still have that option of going back to taper. Once I have figured out which taper I want, which is -10 degrees, I will type in the height, which is 9 inches or so, and I have my actual vase bottom. Now next step is we're going to have to make a cutout inside so we can actually have an empty area. Now there's 2 options to do this. We can use our shell command, which actually I'll go over, or we can draw in a circle, extrude it down, and subtract it. We might want to do that because we want to fill up the inside with some fake dirt. So, or we could just have a little layer on top that has dirt. Still an option. It's initial phase design. We'll use our shell command, so you guys get a refreshment course on that. To get to shell, you have to go to either modify, solid editing, shell, and I think it should be where's solid. Alright, I don't remember exactly. Oh, there it is. Shell. So that's all the way of getting to it. You go to solid and go to shell. You select your object, like so. You click enter because it's asking you. Oh, actually, before you click enter, you gotta read it. Make sure that it's asking. You have to make sure that you know what it's asking you to do. So it's asking you to remove faces. So the face you're removing is the face that is going to be actually cut out. So that's the top face. So just click on top over here. Oops, I think I clicked too many times. I clicked twice. You can see down here it said one face and two face. So pick the top face and then pick the whole body, which is not what I wanted. So I have to go escape, go back to that command. Again, do the same thing. Shell, select the object, select the face, which is this one. It selected it. You can't see it, but it's been selected. And now it's going to ask me to, that's all I want to remove, and that's a yes, so I just click enter. And that's the distance that you offset the distance of the shell. So it gives you the thickness that you want. It's pretty much asking you the thickness, so at this point we will make it 0.5 or 0.25. So I'm going to do 0.5 right now. Looks about right. So I'm going to click enter and enter to get out of the command. And it's actually shelled in. Now if the object is more complex, shell may not work, or it might just crash your computer, so try not to use it on more complex objects. It's just a head. It's still not the best tool, so keep that in mind. Now if I want, I can change the visual view so I can get a better view of this. If I go to view, visual style, conceptual, you can see it in solid form, or you can go over here to view, pick one of these. We'll also create a shaded view. So we have something like that. It's perfect. It's all the same thickness, and what we want to do next is pretty much fill it in. There's actually a couple of different ways you can do this. One way is just draw a circle up here on top, and I'm gonna actually, that's what we're gonna do, because we're gonna have a little lip on top that's being straight about 1 inch or half an inch. So I'm gonna draw a circle on top of this in the center. Now I have to make sure my X and Y coordinates are correct. That way it does draw it in the correct plane. I have one circle of the exterior, and instead of doing the interior, what I'm going to do is going to go to a modify, 3D operations, extract edges. I select that command. Again, you can go to modify, 3D operations, extract edges. You can select that edge that you want. Okay, 1 found. Is that all you want? Yes. Click enter, and it's going to create that edge for you. So now if I do a blue box, you can see I have 2 circles. One out here, one inside. It's dashed in, and that's what I want. So I'm just going to make sure everybody's caught up to that, and I'm going to keep. All right. So we have this. Our next command will be actually press and pull. Usually, the actual command toolbar, oh, there it is, actually. Because the older versions don't have it up there, you would have to type it in. I think 2010 has that issue, that it doesn't actually have the.
There's a toolbar for it.
Is it? Okay, that's
2009.
Yeah, 2009, but you could still do it in 2009. That's the thing. I don't know why, they probably forgot it or something, I don't know. So you use that, press pull, you select. Select that right.
I think
there we go. You just click escape, try again. Should work. And we're gonna go up about 1 inch. So type in 1, enter. You get 1 inch. So it looks like an actual vase. Now we're gonna do a weird vase now next to it. So what we're gonna do is go back to our top view, but I just don't want you guys to go to the top view over here. Well, actually, you can do that as long as your X and Y coordinates are correct. And we're gonna draw a design next to this. Something about the same size, so you have a reference. And we're going to use a spline command. The thing about spline is, when you're already drawing in 3D, it will not let you snap and close. So you got to be careful about that. So I'm going to click don't click too close, because otherwise you won't be able to move them together, join the lines, the endpoints. So I drew a spline. Clicked enter to escape out of the command, and of course it's not connected, so it is not a complete enclosed object. I have to make it enclosed, so I'm going to select the line. I'm going to drag the endpoint to endpoint. Make sure my O snap is on, so it snaps on. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a solid 2D drawing that we can extrude. Next step is I want you guys to also join the top. This is the, let's say that's the bottom shape. I want to draw the top shape. The top shape is going to probably be a little bit bigger, and of course it's going to be a different design too. So I drew something like this. Of course you see that huge gap. I know it's not enclosed, and it's going to be easy for me to fix because I know where the endpoints are. So click and drag and snap on endpoint to endpoint. So right now I have two 2D drawings. One is going to be my base and the other is going to be at top. For some reason my base is really small. You can always scale it up, but I'm going to leave it as it is just for show. Alright, after you have this established, what you want to do is go to isometric view. You can use your square cube over here, or you can go to view, views, isometric, and what we want to do is we're going to move one of these on top of the other for reference. So we're going to move command, enter, make sure my ortho is on, that way it's not moving in the Z coordinate, and it's only moving X and Y. There we go. And one's on top of the other. If I hold shift and use my scroll button, press around it and push and move my mouse around, you'll see that is one on top of the other. One on top of the other. Alright, so we have that part. Now the next step is we're going to actually move it on the Z coordinates. Now you can do ortho, it will work. Move command and you have ortho and it goes up. Or you have the other option of using a 3D move, which you may want to try practicing with. 3D move should be in, there we go. Solid, it's a gizmo. So, or no, yeah, move gizmo, select your object, and you select the blue arrow. That just lets you move it at that coordinate, or the Z coordinate. I'm going to move it up to about a line up to the base that we have already. Actually, I got really close to it. So we have the same height, just about. And what we're going to do next is we're going to loft it. So to do that, I have to make sure everybody's cut up. Back to this. Okay, we have the base and we have the top, and what we're going to use is the loft command. So go to your home. From extrude, you switch down to loft. You select one object, then you select the other. Sometimes what happens is it won't work. You can try doing reversely, selecting the top one first and then the bottom. It may resolve it. If not, then your object is too complex and it will not loft. Alright, so we selected one, we select the other, click enter or space, and we have our design. Click enter to skip over that command. Got our design. That's my, I guess it's a heart. Wow. Unintentionally. Anyways, so that's my vase, but I still need a hole in it, so I can do the same command as we did before. Use the shell command. But before I do this, I have to make sure I save my work, because otherwise it might just crash on me and I might just lose everything I just worked so hard on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to solid, shell, select the surface, which is the top. Select the object first. Now it's asking me to select the face, which is that face. Now you can see it's unhighlighted, so it did select the correct thing. And I'm going to click enter or space and then give it a thickness. No loop, extract bender body. Guess that's not going to help. It's too complex to shell, and that happens a lot. So maybe you'll be lucky, maybe not. What I recommend to do in this case is you still want to do the shell. A way I found out that you can resolve this issue is by going to your line command. You select on the surface, it will get you the exact center of that surface. So even though if you can't calculate it, because I don't think anybody can, by selecting the surface, it does it itself. Alright, so it selected the center, which is great, but now I have to figure out how I'm going to cut out the same shape inside of it that's a little bit smaller. To do that, I make a copy of my original. So I take this whole object, I'm going to make a copy over. Actually, I should copy it with the line. So copy that and the line over, because then I have both the reference points. From here, I will take this one object. I'm going to scale it down. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to Scale command over here and to my right and scale, or you can go to your home and Scale command right here. Scale it, and we use the point, that line point where that center of my object is. From there, I'm gonna go. Either I can move my mouse and hope I snap on. I mean, I don't snap back, or whatnot. But that's not gonna work. So what I have to do is I have to type in something. Usually it's gonna be like 9.95 for 5% less, or 0.9 for 10% less. I'm gonna try 0.95 or 95% of the size. It got smaller. Now, if I want, I can change the color of this. But I'm actually not going to do that. We'll do that later. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it back using that end point of the line to there. And now I can see the thickness I made. 0.5 is great. Actually, it is perfect for what I wanted. So when I did 0.95, that was actually the best I could have picked. Now, what I want to do is use our subtract command. So we go to subtract up here. You're in my home tab. Subtract, you select the exterior first. So it's asking you what you're subtracting from first. So you're subtracting from the big piece, and then you're going to click enter because it's asking if you want to select any more. And then the next option is, what are you subtracting? I am subtracting the inside part, so I'm going to select that one. Just make sure you highlight the correct one. Yep. And then just click enter. Now hopefully this, yep. So it has the exact same thickness around. Maybe it doesn't have that ½ inch as I wanted because I did by percentage, but it does have that cutout in a weird form, which Shell couldn't do. But I just showed you how to do it. So those kind of things do happen often. That's why I want to show you guys how I go around it, because that's going to happen to you if you design stuff like that. So we'll go around, make sure everybody got to that note. Alright, so our final option, in case this doesn't work or object is too complex to do and it's causing issues, we'll do when we do loft, we'll do guidelines. To do that, you select your top sketch and your bottom sketch. If you don't have that, use your extract edges command, which is modify, solid editing, 3D operations, extract edges. Just if you don't have those lines, you can make a copy. So okay, I have one top bottom, that's what we started with, and I want to put them together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offset. So offset both, I'm going to go about 0.25. I'm going to offset inside or outside, doesn't matter. It's just going to change it a little bit. And that's the thickness I'm trying to design. One thing to note, it's going to create a loft with a hole in top and bottom, so we're going to have to fill up the bottom later. But don't worry about it for now. And what we're going to do is use our loft command. I can type it in, or you can go over here to loft, or you can go to draw, modeling, loft. You're going to select, actually I think, no, okay, sorry about that. What we need to do is make this area solid, or a surface, so we can loft the surface to surface, and it should work. To do that, we gotta use our region command. So what's on your draw command toolbar, region, or you can go to draw, region. So you click that, you create a region. Oh crap. You have two regions. We're gonna delete the inside one. Oh, actually, no. Hold on. And there. This one. Yeah. Alright. What we have to do is when you have those two, we have to subtract one from the other. That way we'll actually have a surface. exterior surface only. To do that, you have to go to your subtract command, which is over here in your home toolbar. Subtract, you select the outside surface, and then you select you click enter or space, and then you select the inside surface. That's what you're subtracting. So inside, and click enter. You should have something like this, and you're going to do the same exact thing with the bottom piece. Subtract, exterior, enter, interior, enter. And we got 2 pieces. So go ahead and do that. Alright, our next step, once we have these two parts, is we're going to use the loft command. Your loft command is in your home tool, your tab, home tab, right here. If you don't have it, just click on the arrow. It should come up. It's right under extrude. Loft, you select the surface of one, and you select the surface of the other, and click enter. And click enter again to get out of the command. But here's the problem. First of all, it does look great. Except there's a hole at the bottom. That's one problem. The second problem is it's actually not a solid. It's actually surfaces. So to fix that, there's a couple of options. One option is we can go to our modify, 3D operations, and there's an option, convert to solid. This may or may not work, but it is an option to try. So we go to convert to solid, we select the object, the whole entire object, and click enter. 10 objects cannot be converted. Great, we failed in that way. That's fine. I will show you another option. In case we are drawing this and that doesn't work and we don't want to do it this way, we can do it another way. I'm going to delete all our work. Yeah, I know, you're probably mad at me. Delete that offset, everything we did. And I'll show you the other way of doing it. This time we're going to just do the loft, but we got to do the loft surfaces. Loft, I think it should work. Actually, no. Give me a second. Okay. True. Extend. Hold on. Let me pause this for a second. I gotta make sure I'm doing. Alright, let's go. I went undo. I went back to this area. One option is going to our loft command directly and lofting it from the center piece. Oops, that went too far. So when we offset it, which everybody should have something offset 0.25, and then I do loft. Oops. I do the loft and I do the inside part first. This one didn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work because when you offset it inside, it crashes on itself. So what you can do is just offset it outside, and that should resolve the issue. Now if I go back to my loft command, I loft one object from the center to the center, and then I loft the outside to the outside. Oh, this is not my day. Oh, it's not closed. Something happened with it. So you have to make sure everything's correct, otherwise it won't work. I'm going to go loft from this piece to the top piece. And now all I have to do is subtract, and we'll have what I'm looking for, which is that shape perfectly with the thickness I was looking for. That's one way of doing it. The other option, this is solid, you can tell. The other option is in case you did 8 extrude like before, and let's say we have the exterior wall only. Oops. So let's say I have something like this. I only have actual surface, and it doesn't actually have a thickness, and it's not actually solid. What I can do is I can go to the thicken command. The thicken command is right over here. It's right under slice, and it allows you to put a thickness for a surface. Most surfaces. I can't tell you that's going to do it to all of them. Some are so complex that overlaps each. If it overlaps itself, it won't do it. So I go to thicken. I select my object, which I just did, and I click and then give it a thickness of 0.25. And hope to pray it works. Alright, that didn't work. And try it again. Select it, enter. Either try a smaller thickness. Okay, it didn't work. Or you can do a negative thickness. That way it goes the other way around. Point. Or get this, there's another option of fixing this to make it work. If that doesn't work, we can go back to our old tool of slice. So we take slice, we take the object that we're going to slice in the, like in the middle. Yeah, it got split into two pieces, and now I can try to thicken both pieces. So I'll do this one first, 0.25. And it's not working. Problem with thickness is sometimes you can. Oh, see, it worked on one side. And you should give it a thickness of 0.1. I'm gonna try using the thicken again for the other piece. Yeah, it didn't work, so I might have to slice it again. If I slice it again, it should. So I'll go slice again. Slice this piece right here. Slid. And I'm going to go to thicken again. 0.1. Yeah, that. I'm going to give up on this one because this area right here is way too complex for it. And it doesn't know how to thicken it. So in that case, that option didn't work. I would go back to that option. But there's always an option. There's always you can do it one way or another. But I'm showing you that you will come up with these problems, and there is a way. You just got to think out the outside of the box or inside the box, depending on which way you're offsetting. Oh, sorry. All right. Let me just go